News, if you're an Arsenal fan, has certainly been hard to come by. I mean, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, pretty much everyone is putting their hands in the transfer market. Meanwhile, it seems like Arsenal aren't. But today we've received a little bit of an update. Not much of one, but something worthy of talking about in the winger department. So we'll be getting all onto that. But before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe and the like as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. But let's get into it. The player, the title, is Antoine Semenyo. And I'm just going to give a little bit of thoughts on him, then we'll go more in depth. Yes, he doesn't scream out initially as a player that would make you feel like Arsenal are going to win the league next season. But we've got to look at it differently. In terms of profile and what he brings to the Arteta system, I've said this many times before, I'm going to keep it the same. It's not just Gyökeres in terms of I'm going to be just hell-bent on being like, he does not fit the system. The winger profile also needs to fit the system as well. And Semenyo, fortunately, does in terms of the sort of attributes he has. But let's look at those reports. Sam C came out to say Antoine Semenyo is a target for Arsenal and Manchester United. He will cost 50 million. And this isn't the first time we've heard something like this. We've known Semenyo has been quite a high sort of candidate for Arteta in the left winger role. And you can see why, in terms of the mental profile and the physical attributes he brings and the ball carrying ability, of course, it makes sense. And of course, Manchester United are going in for Mbeumo, Cunha and Semenyo would seem a bit much on their end. So it makes me feel as though if it was to come down to a decision between Arsenal and Manchester United, Semenyo would certainly pick us. And in terms of Sam C, he's been quite a known journalist in the Arsenal space recently. He's come up with quite a lot of good Arsenal news in terms of giving us stuff that has actually come out to be true. So we shouldn't just take it with a pinch of salt. We can take this with a little bit of optimism that Semenyo is quite high on that Arsenal list. We also have Jacob Benz, who's been really, really good lately for Arsenal News, saying this a couple of months ago. I'm told that if Semenyo is to leave, he would be very open to Arsenal and London. I believe he grew up as an Arsenal fan, but they are not advanced or set on making a move yet. The left side and centre forward positions are two priorities for Arsenal. So there you have it. In terms of personal terms, I don't think it'll be too hard to convince someone like Semenyo. There's even videos of him out there saying he's an Arsenal fan and how he loved watching Arsenal. So that's always a positive thing, because I feel like having a player come to the club and sort of have that desire to wear the badge, it just brings something different. It's almost like having a fan on the pitch, and that can only push you on to do even better things and make you perform to an even higher level, because a club you have a personal connection to in your youth. In terms of Semenyo as a profile, he offers right wing, centre forward and left wing. So that versatility we're looking for, he would also bring that. So we've talked about a striker needing a striker. You can either easily play Martinelli on the left, Semenyo through the middle, Saka on the right, Semenyo on the left, Havertz or Sesko through the middle, Saka on the right. There's so many different ways in which Arsenal could play with a profile like Semenyo. And that's what makes him exciting, apart from the fact that he's so good as a player and a profile for this Arteta system. But let's get into the more tactical stuff. And if we're looking at the non-penalty goals here, we'll slowly go through it. It's quite high, top 35% for wingers in Europe. This is for a Bournemouth side. He has a high volume of touches per game, so he's quite involved. He's given the responsibility to create attacking threat, which is always a positive, because you want players who are used to being on the ball, used to having possession, used to having to do rotations, used to pressing as well. I feel like that's a massive positive plus in Semenyo. He's not a player that would come in and have to learn the pressing style. Statistics showed sort of last season, Bournemouth are a more pressing side than Arsenal in terms of high turnovers, high pressing. So him coming into the Arteta way of playing in terms of pressing would be second nature. Shots total, look at that, top 7%, 3.51 per 90. This is a player who's going to get a lot of shots off at goal. And this is when we're talking about the striker signing. When you're not going to get a Gyökeres, if we're not going to get a Sesko, the winger signing has to have the ability to take multiple shots on goal. Because last season, it was definitely true, Arsenal didn't take enough shots in the final third. We'd get to the box and we'd be passing on responsibility to other players. But with a profile like Semenyo, who likes the responsibility of shooting, it's not always accurate, it's not always the right choice at times, but there's that desire and selfishness in the final third to take a shot on, whether that's on his left foot or his right foot, which is what we need. That unpredictability of both feet is really, really good. You don't even know what feet he is at some times. Shot creating actions as well, 3.71 per 90. Pretty decent at creating separation. He has that Hazard step in terms of when he carries the ball and when he cuts in, he's able to create a little bit of separation, a bit like Hazard did. Pass completion, I think those stats are a bit skewed, but he does like to force the final pass, which is good. You know, if he sees a run, he can spot it. The execution won't always be there, but the fact he's spotting it is always a positive sign. It's just about weight of pass, things that can be coached, and a coach like Arteta can certainly do that for Semenyo, really elevate him and sort of teach him how to be more potent in the final third with his passes. Successful take-ons, really good, top 28% in the attacking third. He's a really good profile when it comes to carrying and take-ons and dribbling, because he's just so strong. You can't shove Semenyo off the ball, you know. If you're going to get the ball off him, it has to be a mistake on his behalf, maybe not keeping the ball close to his body, maybe taking an extra touch. I think there was a game actually against Arsenal, the Emirates, the one they beat us. There was a chance where he was through on goal. He took a heavy touch and the defender was able to come in and make an interception. That's what can happen with Semenyo, rather than him being bullied off the ball or failing a dribble. It's all within his own control if he's to be tackled, and that's a massive positive. Touches as well, like I've said, attacking touches, he likes to be involved in final third, receiving the ball. And of course, blocks, clearances and aerials one. Arteta's going to love this guy in terms of aerial duels. You can easily use him as a reference point in the attack. We like to rotate, so Havertz could go on the left, Semenyo through the centre to hold the ball off. Saka's actually quite decent in terms of receiving the ball in the air from a Raya kick. So he adds that as well, that aerial duel element to the attack that we can use to build up. Semenyo would not struggle, top 5% for wingers across the whole of Europe. If we're looking at his raw stats, of course, 19 GA and 42 is not bad for a Bournemouth side. That's nearly a goal or assist every other game. The season before, 10 GA and 36. So this is a player who's clearly improving season on season. There's no stagnation. It's constant growth, constant development. And that's what you need. You need a player who has room to improve. If I'm not wrong in saying, I think he's around 24, 25 years of age. So he's still quite young, hitting those prime years. And I feel as though, being in the Premier League, knowing how the Premier League works, that adaptation period another player would have, it wouldn't be there for him. So when we're thinking of signing Nico Williams, Barcolas, Gittins, Semenyo is a ready-made player who could come in and make an impact, which is always a massive positive thing. He can be a goal threat. I really think he's a sort of player who can get you a 10-10 season in terms of 10 goals, 10 assists, maybe a 15-10 in either way or direction. He can do that because he's a nice, unique profile in terms of what he can offer in the final third. And of course, I made a little bit of a thread here on Twitter. Please go and follow me if you haven't already. In terms of talking about Semenyo, you know, he's an incredible profile. Ball striking, high volume shot taker, power in the carry, transitional threats. And when thinking about going on the break in those big away games in the Champions League, he'll be able to carry the ball, keep the ball. And the range, the price, 50 million is not bad whatsoever. But I feel as though a Semenyo profile, if you can get it to 40 to 45 million, around that with, you know, sort of installments spread over, that's an absolute bargain for a player like him. Arteta would have so much to work with, but there's already so much there and a lot of impact can made straight away. There's not going to be an adaptation period, like I've said, but I would certainly get excited if Semenyo makes his way up into that list of Arsenal targets. Let's quickly look at how Arsenal could set up. Semenyo, Sesko, Saka, Odegaard, Rice, Zubimendi, Lewis, Skelly, Gabriel, Saliba, White and Raya. As an Arsenal fan, I don't want to dwell on this too long because obviously I would love to do this with someone who we're definitely going to sign. But when you look at that lineup, let me know down below, how do you feel? Do you feel confident? Do you feel this can win a title? Or do you think, again, this isn't enough to go over the line? I certainly think profile-wise, this is a really, really good lineup. But anyway, that's it for now. Hope you have enjoyed, and until next time, peace.